Hi there, my name is Ali, and this is the third in a series of videos that I have been producing to provide my solutions to some common everyday problems that all of us face. So if there's any everyday problems that you would like my input on, then please let me know in the comment section below. Throughout my life, my greatest enemy has undoubtedly been procrastination. Whenever I was faced with a task that I found to be daunting or difficult, I would delay doing it due to the weight of the task in my mind. Eventually, I would end up delaying more and more, and I would end up becoming more stressed about completing the task as a result of that. And I would feel guilty about not completing the task on top of that, until eventually the deadline arrived. At that point, I would either undergo a frantic last-minute rush to try and complete the task, or I would end up not completing it at all, and I would have to face the consequences of that. The reason that we procrastinate is to get a sense of stress relief. Yet, ironically, the more we procrastinate, the more stressed we become, and we have to face the consequences of our procrastination on top of that. Based upon my own research and my own life experiences, in this video I will be presenting to you 5 tips to help combat procrastination. Tip 1. Understand what the task is and why you're doing it. Imagine a student that is given a homework assignment that they perceive to be pointless and irrelevant to their life. The student ends up procrastinating upon doing the assignment, and eventually the deadline arrives. In order to have something to hand in to their teacher, and to avoid a detention, the student copies from a friend and hands that in instead. Eventually, when exam season arrives, the student finds that the topic that they perceived to be pointless ended up being the most important topic on the exam, so they failed their examination. If you went back in time and warned the student about these future events, do you think they would still end up procrastinating and not revising that topic? Likely not. Oftentimes, the reason that we procrastinate is because we don't even know why we're doing that thing in the first place. Next time that you come across a task that you perceive to be daunting, and that you feel like procrastinating, ask yourself these 4 questions. What is the task? Why am I doing it? How will this help me to achieve my future goals? And what will the consequences of not doing it be? By having a clearer idea in your mind of what the task is and why you're doing it, it will be much easier for you to stay focused and motivated to do the task. Whether it's achieving a personal goal, achieving success in your school life, or achieving a new milestone, having a vision in mind for what it is and why you're doing it will make it much easier for you to stay on track and get it done, and will help you resist the urge to procrastinate. Tip 2. Checklists and time blocking. Creating a checklist of each task you need to do in a day is a powerful way to combat procrastination. Instead of having a hazy idea in your mind of all the tasks you need to complete, you give yourself a clear roadmap of what you need to do and provide structure to your work. I would also recommend setting yourself a realistic time limit for each task. That is slightly less than what you think it should take. Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time we allocate it. I've personally noticed in my own life that if I give myself an hour, for example, to complete a homework task, I'll spend half an hour procrastinating on my phone and half an hour actually working effectively. Whereas if I just gave myself the half an hour to get the work done, I would end up getting it done. Moreover, I would recommend blocking similar tasks together. For example, blocking together tasks that require you to use a laptop, and blocking together tasks that involve cleaning your home. This means that you retain a sense of focus between different tasks, and it prevents you from procrastinating between tasks, like you probably normally would. Tip 3. Keep your phone and other distractions out of sight. We all know the feeling of being in the middle of a really boring task, reaching for our phones, and somehow witnessing an hour disappear before our very eyes. But there is a very simple solution to this problem. Keep your phone out of reach and out of sight. By doing this, we don't see our phone as a viable option to procrastinate with. However, sometimes we will find ourselves procrastinating on our phones, or on random YouTube videos we're not interested in, or on random websites for several hours for no good reason. But if you do recognize and find yourself doing that, stop, recognize that you're procrastinating, and find the strength within yourself to put it away and complete the task that you know you need to do. Tip 4. Do the difficult tasks first. It's human nature to prioritize the easier and more enjoyable tasks over the challenging ones. However, oftentimes the tasks that we procrastinate on the most are the ones that are the most important, or the ones that are the most challenging. The more we procrastinate on tasks, the heavier and heavier and heavier the weight of doing these tasks becomes, creating unnecessary stress and anxiety. By tackling these tasks head on, we achieve a sense of accomplishment, and we give ourselves the motivation to propel us forward to carry out the rest of the tasks. This creates a sense of positivity and happiness at the beginning of our days, giving us the energy and the strength to motivate us to do the remaining tasks, and it makes the remaining ones seem more enjoyable and more manageable in comparison. However, if you find that doing the easier tasks works better for you, as it gives you the strength and prepares you to complete the more difficult tasks later on, go ahead and don't let me stop you. Tip 5. Recognize that you are in control of your future, and think about future you. We can't change the past, and we don't know what we'll end up doing in the future. But what we can change is now, right now. Think about whatever you want to be in the future, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to have. All of that is dependent upon what you do now. And have pity on future you. Imagine, every time you delay a task or say, hey, I'll just do it tomorrow, that's more work that future you has to deal with. And that creates more stress and anxiety for you in the future. And what makes you think you will end up doing it tomorrow anyway? Every time you think about procrastinating, imagine how stressed and anxious and how disappointed you'll feel if you do end up procrastinating that task and not doing it. And conversely, think about how fulfilled and happy you'll be, and how much better you'll be if you end up completing that task that you know you really should. You're in control of your future. Whenever I feel like procrastinating on a task, or whenever I feel like giving up, I recognize this, and it gives me the extra boost and the strength I need to complete the task at hand. And I hope it does the same for you. In conclusion, I have been fighting procrastination my whole life, and to this day, it's an ongoing battle. However, armed with these tips, I have found it substantially easier to combat my biggest enemy. Remember, fighting procrastination is an ongoing process. Sometimes we can end up stumbling and falling back into the abyss of old habits and procrastination. However, with strength, determination, and perseverance, we can climb ourselves back out. Our time is a gift and a test, so let's not waste it. I hope that these tips have been helpful, and if there's any other everyday problems that you would like me to provide my input on, then please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.